This episode was recorded before Shabbat. Since then, protests in Iran have escalated and the possibility of regime change has increased. The situation remains highly fluid and difficult to assess. FIDF Live will keep you apprised of developments.
Hello, friends of the IDF, and happy 2026. Welcome to this year's first episode of FIDF Live. In Judaism, the number 26 carries deep significance. It represents the name of Hashem, and we pray that this year is a year of safety, strength, and blessing for Am Yisrael and the state of Israel. Day and night, those prayers are being guarded by the soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces who are standing watch so the rest of us can live and build and dream. To help us make sense of the intense and historic year already unfolding and to offer insight into what lies ahead, we're honored to be joined by our very own FIDF CEO, Major General Nadav Hadad. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Lara.
As always, it's incredible to sit down and hear from you. So let's dive right in. What we're seeing right now in Iran feels a bit like a miracle. There are women marching in the streets, taking off their hijabs. In a couple of cases, the police have joined the protesters, and it has everyone wondering, could this be it? Could this be the overthrow? What do you foresee, and how could that impact Israel, the region, and the world?
So the situation in Iran is quite complicated. By the way, it's have a lot to do with what happened during the 12-day war and what happened the last 2 years by, taking out from the build of security of Iran, all those proxies that they built over the years. But it had more to do with the terrible economic situation in Iran. Most of the people that protest outside could not care less about Lebanon, about the Houthis in Yemen. They care about their own survival. They cannot bring food to the table. There is a water crisis in Iran. The inflation in Iran is crazy. It's never been there in this situation for the last over 30 years. So they protest in a way that they didn't protest before. We can see symbol that it's serious by seeing the people from the bazaar, from the market, protesting. Protesting yesterday, worker from factories around Tehran and Mashhad and other cities become part of the protest. It's really big things, but it's still far from taking this terrible regime to collapse. They very smartly build their security in a way that built to deal actually with those kinds of crises by, for example, divide the army to two different armies. So if one army are betrayed you have another army to secure it. There is regular army and Republican Guard army, which is equivalent armies. They have those besieged, those militia, over 1 million people of those that could, replace the police and be the guy that shooting at the street and killing protesters. So it's really hard to predict where it goes. If it will continue like that, it will start symboling a serious thing. And if we'll see people from the high rank general from the army, both of them, or from the Basij or from the police becoming part of the protest, that's going to be another symbol. We see that pressure that the government of Iran under by trying to recruit militia and extension for the Basij, if you want, in Iraq and other places, which is quite worried because those guys could not care less about values, about life. In last event, they killed thousands of people at the streets of Iran. Nobody cares about it in the world. Speaking about hypocritism and the way that the world pick the conflict that it speaks about. So the situation is definitely fragile. It's not a small thing. It's not something that can be solved tomorrow because those economic crises cannot be solved without doing significantly different thing in Iran and the regime, which means, getting rid of all those sanctions that are there because of their action, because they're developing nuclear weapons, because they're developing ballistic missiles. Speaking about that, what happened in Venezuela, here in South America, have a lot to do with it. I'm not so sure that what had in the mind of the people in the White House and the president of the US when he decided to do this operation in Venezuela, but definitely it's had direct impact on Iran, on Hezbollah. Those groups are definitely use this part of the world to bypass the sanction, to open the kind of back door to bring money and support to their regime. Hezbollah and other terror organizations are laundering crime money, mainly from drugs, and bring it over to the Middle East. So it's a huge, huge source of money and support to the whole kind of terror phenomena run by the Iranian through the proxies all around Israel. So without having it in mind, if you will, in the White House, it helps a lot. The war against the proxies, Hezbollah specifically, and it's definitely influenced the issue in Iran that have a lot to do, mostly deal with the economic situation in Iran.
It's so interesting to see Iran, the Iranian axis, really, like Iran in Iran, and then now in Venezuela get hit from within and from without. Do you foresee that, this escalation could empower, the people of Lebanon, for example, to try and seize the moment to topple Hezbollah? Or do you see that this could have that sort of regional ripple in that way, or you think that it's more isolated to Iran?
So if I want describe the situation in Lebanon from my own egoistic perspective as Israeli, as a former general, but from a bird's eye view, and try to be fair and honest for both sides, I would say that definitely what happened in Venezuela and Iran weakened Hezbollah, that got all this money and support from Iran and from money that come from this laundering process of drug money in South America, as has been mentioned. But still in Lebanon, the situation is the biggest and the strongest force in Lebanon is Hezbollah. Is still stronger than the Lebanese military. By the way, without mentioning that part of the Lebanese military are officers and soldiers that come from the Shia community of Lebanon, that in a way supporting the idea of Hezbollah. Yes, it's bring a better context or create better opportunity for the government of Lebanon and for the army of Lebanon to do their job. And while criticizing the Lebanese army that are not acting as we wish, as Israeli, to demilitarize Hezbollah and to disarmament all this village along the border with Israel, you have to remember that during the last from the ceasefire till today, there were 2,200, a little bit more than 2,200 events that Israel declare and ask the coalition inspection and the Lebanese government to deal with. Situation that the Hezbollah actually work against the ceasefire agreement that we signed by rebuilding their forces at the south part of Lebanon, by trying to renovate their launch facilities and others. And over 500 of them dealt by the Lebanese army. So it's definitely not enough. But it's a lot more that's been done all over the last several years. So definitely it's not solved the effort to block Hezbollah from rebuilding themselves, and specifically for rebuilding themselves south to the Litani River, close to the border of Israel. But it's simple something that we didn't see over the last several years, and it's bring hope. It's bring hope that there is forces within Lebanon that not only declaring that they are against Hezbollah, willing to take the risk and to confront Hezbollah and prevent them from rebuilding themselves. So yes, Israel have to operate and do what he'd have to do to prevent Hezbollah from rebuilding himself. It happened almost every week at the beginning and every day the last several weeks. Even this morning, Israel eliminated one of the Hezbollah air engineer that tried to rebuild drones facilities and such. It happened almost every day the last several days in Lebanon because we've been forced to do it. We really wish for the Lebanese army to take over and for the Lebanon government to be independent and even to have kind of normalization relation with Israel. We can really dream about peace agreement. But to do or to get to this situation, we have to change the context. And the context is that Hezbollah is no longer a force that unstabilize Lebanon, and by that, not only unstabilizing Lebanon, but threat the Israeli border and the Israeli stability.
So what does that mean in your view for the soldiers in 2026? Like when we look at the future in Gaza, if we look in the future in the north and we see Hamas and Hezbollah refusing to disarm, never mind the big hits that they've recently taken. So what can we anticipate that the soldiers will then have to do about it, or that Israel will have to do about it?
So although we under kind of agreement and ceasefire, the challenges are still there. All the border of Israel are unstable right now. We spoke about the third circle, about Iran. We spoke about Lebanon. We have to remember to still have forces of the IDF securing the border with Syria. There were, by the way, a positive development with Syria last week that we reopened the negotiation and discussion between Israel and Syria under the umbrella of the US that been stopped for several weeks, which is a good thing. But still, there is thousands of soldiers securing the border because of this instability. Now it speaks about what's going on in Judea and Samaria with all the effort of Hamas, the Islamic Jihad, and the Iranian to encourage those terror cells that embedded within the communities of Judea and Samaria to challenge Israel. The fact that we don't see terror attack every day is because there is a lot of soldiers right now in Judea and Samaria, more than regular, that fighting those terror cells on a daily basis. The situation in Gaza Strip, again, although we are under ceasefire agreement, still waiting for the last body of hostages, really. By the way, we heard yesterday that Hamas and Islamic Jihad restart the process of looking to find his body, which is a good thing. Hopefully, we're praying and holding finger for him to find him and bring peace to his family and to all of Israel. But the situation in Gaza Strip that the IDF spread all over what we call the yellow line, which more or less means that the IDF holding half of Gaza Strip, 50% of it, 49% of the Gaza Strip is under the full control of Israel. The meaning of it, the translation of it to numbers and soldiers, that there is thousands of soldiers within Gaza Strip. So therefore, the plan for next year, for 2026, is for all of the active soldiers to be more or less 90% of the time doing security routine along the border, only 10 or a little bit more than 10% training. And it means that we will have to have lots of reservists to support them. The plans for 2026 is for most of the combat reservists to serve around 70 days. When the average is 70 days, which is a lot, means that the commander will probably going to serve 90, 100 days per year. And those commanders are the same people that run the economy of Israel. So the challenge for the economy of Israel and for the IDF will be greater than in regular year, definitely. And we can say without hesitating that we are facing one of the most challenging year we ever faced. To shape, design, and stabilize the border at the north, to solve and to stabilize and demilitarize the terror organization in Gaza Strip, while continuing fighting and preventing terror organization to grow to scales that could create something like October the 7th in Judea and Samaria. It's a great challenge. From the perspective of us, of the perspective of the FIDF, we're probably going to support like double amount of soldier next year. The meaning of 70-day average days of service for reservists is that we'll have to support thousands of reservists next year. So it's a huge challenge for Israel, definitely for the soldier and for the reservists, and for us, it's a mission and different kind of challenge when it comes to support the soldier. We definitely won't go back in 2026 to regular years in Israel.
For sure. One of the things that we saw looking back and looking forward was a lot of new warfare, like new modern warfare. The drones and there was the beeper attack. There were all sorts of new warfare that was being employed. What does that tell us about the changing nature of the battle, and how will the IDF stay ahead when it seems like a lot of the countries in the region are leveling up their own systems and their own equipment?
So I would say that definitely the superiority of technology in Israel give us a lot of advantages this war. Even if you look observe from professional perspective, what happened in Venezuela, you see the supremacy of technology of the US. By the way, it's over Venezuela, and not only over Venezuela, over I would say the Eastern Axis, if you will. We showed that the Western tools, and mainly the American and the Israeli tools and technology, are better and doing better at a field than the Eastern Axis tools. We can see it in Ukraine. We could saw it at the operation in Venezuela, and we see it for the last over 2 years in Israel. So technology definitely plays a significant role, and we have to move forward and push this kind of R&D and technology. So we will keep this advantage and superiority for the years to come and for the future to come. But having said that, you have to remember that parallel to those technology efforts, there were thousands of soldiers from infantry, boots on the ground. They have to go from one house to another. There is a situation that cannot be solved only by technology. Technology could support you, help you, but they cannot solve all your needs when it comes to a modern warfare. And we'll do a huge mistake. We'll go back to what got the name, the R&D, Revolution in Military Affairs, 30 years ago, that brought ideas that the technology could solve everything. It could do a lot. It could change the game. It's not the only component in modern war. So while speaking about technology and developing it for the year to come, we have to remember that the personnel, the human being, are the best source of energy and power and our main superiority. What makes IDF better than our enemy, thank God, is before everything else, the quality of commanders and soldiers.
Absolutely. When you mentioned a moment ago the concern and the need to ensure that there could never be, for example, Chas v'shalom, a 10-7 in Judea and Samaria. What gives you confidence about Israel's future? What lessons do you feel that Israel has learned to ensure that we never slide back to that pre-war status, and that it gives you the confidence, and Israelis' confidence going forward?
So confidence is kind of gift that civilians should have. Professional officers should never be too confident or too sure about things, or feel that they're holding the 100% of the challenge in their hands. We better worry always. We spoke about it several times. I think what brings us to a place that we can provide is confidence to the citizens of Israel is the fact that we have freedom of operation in Gaza, in Judea and Samaria. That wasn't the situation before October 7 in Gaza Strip. We were in one side of the border, and Hamas and Islamic Jihad were in the other. Every few months, years, there were another wave of friction that got names of operation and such, but generally speaking, on daily basis, there were border between us. That's not a situation in Judea and Samaria. In Judea and Samaria, there is different kind of freedom of operation. That means that every time that we see even small noise of building forces of terror or planning to launch terror attack toward the cities of Israel, we can launch our preemptive operation and destroy this from fulfill his dream to kill the civilians and innocent people in Israel. So every night we can see operation within Judea and Samaria, the main city of Shechem, of Hebron, of Ramallah and such. That's what brings the IDF to the ability to provide a level of security that create this confidence to the citizens of Israel, if you will.
Yeah. When we look at the 7 fronts, really 8 fronts, if you include the media battle, where do you feel like people in America can be the best support? From your seat, where did FIDF make the most measurable difference in 2025? And then also looking ahead to 2026, how can we be there as the soldiers face all of these fronts and all of these uncertainties in this changing world and volatile environment?
So before everything else, I would say that if before October the 7th, we could speak about different community, Jewish community, there is no doubt that there is one people of Israel, that things that happen in Israel influence directly what happened all around the world with Israel community and with the liberal community in the Western world. So anti-Semitism, what happened at the universities of the US, have a lot to do and direct relations to the war that's been opened and forced upon us on October the 7th. When people speak about those 2 years war, they don't remind themselves that we were not the one that opened this war. We were surprised, unfortunately, in October the 7th. And you could see that before the first IDF soldier crossed the border, or before there were any maneuver into Gaza Strip, there were protests here in the US supporting the idea of what they call a soldier of freedom. They're speaking about terrorists that burn kids and rape women. Those are freedom warriors, up to those kind of protesters. So the first lesson that we are one Israeli people. And what happened here to the Jews of the US influenced Israel and vice versa. And as one people, we have to work together with the idea, with the understanding that the future of the Jewish people lay on those two corners. And one of our challenges is to build bridge between those two corners. One cornerstone is the state of Israel, obviously, and the other one is the Jewish diaspora, and mainly here in the US, which is the biggest Jewish community out of Israel. So that's the first and the most important lesson. We have to be together to secure and promise our future, because it's a mutual future. It's not about us to decide. It's already been decided for us. So it's a new journey and change the discussion. Thank God there is a lot of communities here in the US. People give them the nickname, the October the 8th Jews, that wake up after October the 7th and understood that, yeah, we have to be together and stick together to promise our mutual future as Jewish people. So we have a lot to do with Asbara, with our PR. We have a lot to do with strengthening our cornerstone, the cornerstone in Israel, and the bridge between them. So we have to be a strong Jewish community here in the US. We have to make sure that Israel keep its security and strong enough to survive at this crazy Middle East with these crazy neighbors. And we also have to make sure that we are putting brick after brick in this bridge to connect between those cornerstones. It's a long journey. It's not going to be solved with one kind of action or one program, one project. It's a long, big strategic project that deal with all three components. And that's the journey of a lot of Jewish organization right now in Israel and in the US. And definitely as part of this community, it's the journey of the FIDF.
So what are the ways that the people watching today, when they want to make a difference in 2026 for the soldiers, what are the most measurable ways, the programs, the directions that FIDF is owning, is taking hold of to ensure that the soldiers are poised to be ready to face everything we've talked about today?
So now I'm speaking from my narrow egoistic perspective as the CEO of FIDF. But the truth is that I'm here because I truly believe in it. I truly believe that the IDF play different and significant role within the community in Israel. It's the last molting part of the communities of Israel. It's the strongest accelerator for social mobility in Israel. It's the one that break walls and bring young men from the periphery to the center and vice versa, and create kind of one people in Israel. So for me, that's the best cornerstone to build a bridge on between the US and Israel. And when I speak about a soldier, I just got the yearly plan of the IDF 2 days ago, and we're in a process for analyzing it. But from bird's view, I can say that the priority of the IDF and the Ministry of Defense, regardless of everything we did over the years, changed a bit. It changed a bit from education and a lot of very strong and important program that we did over the years, and we can continue to for the year to come, to support the well-being, counter PTSD, wounded soldier, bereaved families, or in a way, the spirit of the IDF, and by that, the spirit of Israel. And we can also see change with the way they ask us to support the reservists. Just to give you a flavor, real number from the plans. If the project and the program that were under the priority in 2024 were a project and the sum were around 30 million shekel, the number that I'm speaking about right now is 135 million shekel. Now, all of it going to be covered by the FIDF. Obviously, some of it's going to be covered by the IDF itself, the MOD, the Ministry of Defense, and other organizations, but a lot of it going to be done by us. The budget pie of the FIDF going to change a bit towards reservists, families, wounded soldiers. I mean, physical and mental injuries that become part of the new front line of this war, unfortunately.
It's taking care of the war after the war, the invisible scars.
I mean, for communities and for organizations like us, the real war starts when the war ended. There is a real war to bring all those amazing young men and women that gave their life for us, that damage our soul and a body to defend the Jewish people, and by that the Jewish community as a whole. It's, I think, our obligation to be there for them and to support them and help them go back to life, and most of them will go back to life. I'm very optimistic about our journey. Most of the people that are struggling right now with the right support will be amazing fathers, husbands, and will build families in Israel and lead communities and factories and projects in Israel. So I'm very optimistic about the future in Israel. And by the way, the economy situation in Israel show this optimism. Is not my journey. It's something that we are the Israeli and the people that know and believe in Israel sees in Israel, even during this tough time of the war. But it won't happen by itself. It's happened by supporting, by leading project, by being there for the families and for the soldier in time of need. And that's going to be our journey in 2026.
Thank you so much. It really is an honor to be able to somehow thank the thousands and thousands of men and women who've put their own personal pursuits, their families, their careers, their ambitions, their priorities, their own goals on hold to be able to defend Israel and and all of Am Yisrael. Obviously, the safer that Israel is, the safer Jews everywhere are, and it's the least we can do to help them, to ensure that those scars don't impede their future. They deserve the best, and the worst should be behind them. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
You're totally right, Lara. I want to take this opportunity to tell our community, our supporter, that we did together amazing journey to support the families and the soldier last year. And it's not about just saying Happy New Year. We are very optimistic and looking forward to continue with the journey and even do more and better. 2026, we are changing lives in Israel, nothing less than that.
Amazing. We know that unity is our superpower. Unity is where it all happens. When we're united, then nothing can break us. And if there's any positive that came from October 7th, is that the people of Israel are more unified now than they've been certainly in my lifetime. So thank you so much, General Padan, for being with us and sharing these incredible insights and inspiration for 2026.
Thank you.
Their job is to take care of Israel. Ours is to look after them. If this conversation resonated with you, we invite you to be a part of our mission. Continue being a part of our mission in whatever way feels right to you. And together, we will ensure that the soldiers who protect us day and night feel and know in their heart and in their experience that they are never alone, that we are with them every step of the way, today, tomorrow, and for the long road ahead. Thank you for being with us, and may this year bring strength, healing, and peace to Israel and all of Am Yisrael. Happy 2026. Bye-bye.